Thomas Aquinas was an influential theologian, Christian priest, philosopher, doctor of the church who belonged to the era of medieval philosophy. He was also regarded as an eminent figure in the tradition of scholasticism. His main interests lied in the branches of metaphysics, theology, epistemology, etc. In this video, we will study his faith and reason, the essence and existence, and the most famous concept of God. According to Aquinas, faith or revelation and reason are not opposed to one another, but faith is undoubtedly higher than the reason. He says they are not opposed to one another because many times reason may be used in order to defend faith by destroying the objections, criticisms via the means of rational thinking. On the other hand, he also believed that reason working on its own or by itself may not fully understand the gravity of faith or the gravity of religion or the gravity of theology. For instance, the perfect God, the incarnation of Jesus Christ, the doctrine of the original soul, the concept of Holy Trinity, etc. are primarily dependent on one's faith. They are not opposed to reason, nor are they contrary to reason. Rather, they are much above reason and can be only grasped by one via the means of faith and God's grace. So basically, he's saying that faith and reason are not opposed to one another. The fight is not between faith and reason. The fight is that in order to understand the concept of God, or in order to understand that there exists God and He is the suprememost, one needs faith. As a result, he quotes, "The separation of faith and reason is not ideal, and according to him, it is impossible as both are the two parts of the same man." So we can also say that both reason and faith are like the two sides of the same coin. They go together. But it is very important to understand, he says, that it is faith primarily which dominates over reason. So to conclude, we can say that he understood faith to be much higher than reason, but he does not disregard the latter, that is, he does not disregard reason altogether. The second concept is the concept of essence and existence. Aquinas was highly influenced by Aristotle, and as a result, it can be said that he took the Aristotelian approach in many of his works and theories. One such example is the concept of Aristotle's form and matter. So this concept of Aristotle's form and matter is used by Aquinas as he relates to the concept of essence with forms and the concept of existence with matter. So basically, Aristotle believed that both form and matter cannot exist apart. Similarly, Aquinas says that both essence and existence go together. According to him, essence exists in divine mind before creation and later in things and in human mind. So, essences are primarily universal in nature, while existence is basically particular or individual in nature. The same goes with the concept of form and matter, which is given by Aristotle. Aristotle says that form is universal and matter, on the other hand, is particular or individual in nature. Now coming to the last but the most important concept, that is the concept of God. As we have already read, Thomas Aquinas was a theist. So as a theist, he believed in God and also believed that the existence of God requires proof. So the reason why he says that the existence of God requires proof is because he gives two primary reasons. So the first reason is, he says, human beings learn via experience. So it can be said that they do not have an innate idea regarding God. They learn about God via experiences and their faith. The second being, he believed that there also exists atheism. So, as you would know, atheism basically means no belief in God. So, proofs or arguments for existence of God are needed to prove that he exists. So basically, the proofs or arguments for existence of God are needed because of these two primary reasons. So from these two reasons, especially from the first one, which says that human beings learn via experience, it is amply clear that Aquinas rejects the ontological argument for the existence of God. So the ontological argument for the existence of God was given by Saint Anselm, and we have covered that in a separate video. Coming back to Aquinas, Aquinas, being a true Aristotelian, rejects the concept of priority of ideas. In simpler words, he believed that by merely having an idea of God, God's existence cannot be proved. So, I'll give you an example like saying by merely having an idea of food, a platter of food would not come in front of me. Likewise, I could have a zillion ideas on a beautiful house, wealth, jewels, books, etc. But my having an idea of these things would not bring all these things into reality or would not bring all these things into existence in front of me. Similar case is the case with the God and his existence. Therefore, according to him, God can only be known via reflection. So Aquinas mentioned 5 proofs or arguments for the existence of God. They are the motion argument, the efficient cause argument, the contingency argument, the graded excellence argument, and lastly, the teleological argument. We will discuss all these 5 now. The first being the motion argument. So as the word motion itself suggests, this argument is regarding the first motion. According to Aquinas, everything moves in the world or everything has motion in it. So in order to have motion or in order to cause motion, a thing has to be moved. Now according to Aquinas, God is the first mover. He is the first unmoved mover which causes everything into movement or which causes things into motion. The second is the efficient cause argument. The efficient cause argument basically says that there is no efficient cause in itself. Everything in the world is conditional in nature. In other words, everything has a cause. So, God is the first efficient cause of everything that we see around us. The third is the contingency argument. Contingency argument says that everything is temporary in nature, as the word itself suggests, that is contingency. Now it may exist now, but it may not be there the very next moment. So God is the living being which keeps all contingent things in existence. So basically Aquinas is trying to say that God is the only necessary permanent being. The next is the graded excellence argument. So according to the graded excellence argument, there is nothing perfect in the world. Everything that exists has some good or some non-good or evil associated with it. So God is the only perfect being who is full of perfections, like he is noble, he is truth, he is perfection, etc. So in other words, God is the ground of all perfections in which the things of the world take part. And lastly, the teleological argument. Teleos, as the word suggests, is derived from purpose, and logos means explanation or reason or theory. So the teleological argument says that human beings are purpose driven. However wise or fool, a person always works for an end or a purpose. So any action that a person takes or is engaged with is always driven by a purpose. Nothing exists without a purpose. So this purpose is designed by none other than the God himself. In short, via all these 5 different arguments for the existence of God, Aquinas tries to say that he believes in God and also believes in the existence of God, and says these are the appropriate proofs which show us that God exists, and we do not need to rely on the ontological arguments such as the idea of God or the essence of God is primarily existence, because he gives us these 5 separate proofs. Question: which among the following is a wrong pair when it comes to the proofs for existence of God given by Thomas Aquinas? The correct answer is Thomas Aquinas rejects the ontological argument for the existence of God. The ontological argument is given by Saint Anselm and not Aquinas.